Do it
I,
live.
all right, I think we are live. Yes, we're live. Hello, everybody, and happy mid December. And I have Alex Miner with me today, who also is a video marketer, but he's actually a video marketing genius, which I am not. So I love it. I love it. I love it. So, Alex, why don't you introduce yourself quickly so people know who you are, what you do, and why you're here?
Hey, what's going on, everybody? My name is Alex Miner. I am a video marketing strategist. I just have a high opinion of myself, which is why I put video marketing genius in the title, but you can ignore that. I run a company called I Am Media. My favorite merchandise lady just hooked me up with some shirts today or yesterday. And basically, what we are is a video production company plus digital marketing agency. You smash those two things together, you get something kind of like us. We work with entrepreneurs, coaches, small businesses, and really just help them create video content that they can use as a tool to grow their brands, grow their presence, gain market share. Just basically let everybody know that you exist, because that's why we as business owners need to use video, right? Uh, we all know it works, but a lot of people are stuck on, oh, sounds like a good idea. Like, I help you move past it sounds like a good idea, to turning the good ideas into reality, and giving you the coaching you need to get those out there.
Great. So, having said all that, the distinction between you and me, I just quickly want to kind of outline that, is that you actually are much more so in the trenches of doing for your clients, shooting, editing, and all the like actual, the production stuff.
Right.
Whereas my approach, and you are super techie. I mean, you should check out Alex on his YouTube channel. He has something like 250,000 followers.
I wish.
No, you do. Don't you have like over 250,000 people?
No, I've got like 3,000 subscribers on
Really?
YouTube.
I just made this up? Okay, never mind. Don't listen to him. He has 1 million followers on YouTube. He has a lot of look, I know how hard it is to get followers on YouTube. So having 3,000 is amazing. And he has a lot of like really like awesome like gear reviews and stuff like that. And those of you who know me is I'm sort of like totally not into the tech stuff at all. For me, it's all about consistent posting, easy, making it easy for you to post, showing you how to do it yourself, or I do it with you. So we just have very different approaches. Although we both come from the video production world, so we've both done everything basically. So, but that's why I love always love having a talk with Alex, because we agree, and then we go in different directions in how we execute.
Right.
So Alex, so 2020 was obviously, I think, for all video marketers, unless they played their cards really badly, quite a good year, if not a phenomenal year, because a lot of people have been hemming and hawing about video. Now finally, like, saw the writing. It was not just a writing on the wall; it was like the writing in the sky. Right? You
Yeah.
need video. That's how we communicate.
it's a
So
it's a different world,
yeah.
because like I was saying, a lot of people were stuck in a place of video is a good idea. I wish I could do video. Yeah, we'll think about that. But then once social distancing became a thing, and it really became the in-person networking and marketing and face-to-face, like, nobody wants you coming to their door.
Mhm.
Like, a lot of people don't want you coming to their office.
No.
So now video has become critical for many organizations to continue to do business.
Mm.
Because there's only so much you can get in a phone call, right? There's only so much you can get from a flyer or a mailer, or even billboards, or other traditional avenues of advertisement. They still work, right?
Mm.
But a lot of those ways are either expensive in terms of time, they're expensive, or they're limited in terms of your time and your space and the resources that you can allocate to that. If we're talking about traditional media, they're just expensive. Even
Mm.
though the cost of entry has even come down on a lot of those, uh, it's still
It's still
super
not, it's
duper
not, it,
expensive.
well, but it's also not, I think, relevant or useful for a small business owner, or, even, if you, and, I mean, you and I think we both, I mean, me maybe more so than you, I service-based companies or
Mhm.
mission-driven entrepreneurs. If you maybe traditional media makes more sense if you have a product, like a physical product. But if you are a service provider, video is you're the product, so you should be on video, and that's where all that comes from. So my question to you would be, Alex, I mean, how many people do you still see out there who are still just not get it? Like, I think there's like sort of the people who still don't get it, why they would need video. There's the people who get it, that they need it, but they just don't want to deal with it. And then there's the people who get it and are finally like, you know, getting on the video train. How many people are
Okay.
you in each of these categories?
Well, I think the majority of people go into that first category you're talking about,
Really,
right? They,
still?
you see all these statistics, HubSpot, whatever, the fancy marketing website is that you go to that has a bunch of statistics and studies and stuff. They say, oh, this percentage of marketers use video in their marketing efforts in 2020 or 2019 or 2018, wherever the statistics are from. They got these high percentages. But when I actually talk to business owners, the majority of them are not doing video. They think it's too expensive in terms of time, or they think it's too expensive in terms of money, or they think it's just too difficult to do,
Mhm.
too many hoops to jump through. And that's where me and you come in to service those other two categories that you talk about,
Yeah.
where you're more of the saving grace of the I, I'm more servicing that second category you're talking about, where they think video is what they need, but they don't have the time, they don't have the willpower to
Mhm.
get down and dirty and do all the things, because depending on the level you want to do it to, it's as difficult as you want to make it. It can
Exactly.
be super
Exactly.
it can be super simple, or it can be super complicated.
Right.
Um, both of us tend to love simple, right?
Yes.
Um, but there are times where you need things to be a bit more fancy, a bit, especially depending on what your brand image is like, what your brand
Mhm.
story is like, the way that you want to be visible in the marketplace, especially if you're a higher ticket service provider.
Yeah.
But even then, that third bucket, there are a lot of high ticket service providers who fit into that third bucket
Yeah.
of, they know they need video, they've been considering it a long time, and now they're like, all right, it's time to get my hands dirty. I know I need to be on camera because I am the face, I am the brand. My personal brand is the business's brand, or the business is going to grow on the back of my personal brand.
Right.
And let's get ready to get to work, or we need to figure this thing out. And that's where somebody like you comes in and kind of takes them by the hand and says, all right, this is how we get started.
Right.
And this is the way, as the
Right.
Mandalorians say.
So Lee is asking a question. Maybe people are self-conscious. So I think a lot of people have different hangups. I think self-conscious is a huge one. Be it that they're self-conscious about how they look physically, or that they are stuck in a perfection loop and think it has to be perfect, otherwise it's not worth it, or that they think that they would sound dumb, or they don't have enough to say, or that people would think
So
that.
many, so
Yeah,
many
so many,
reasons,
so
so
many ways,
many
so many
reasons.
ways to skin that cat or
Yeah,
dog.
and
Um,
most people are going to be self-conscious when it comes to being on video.
of
Like
course,
me and Nina, like, you see us here, you see us sound comfortable, you see us
but
able
that
to
took a
chat and
while.
banter and things. We've been doing it for a while.
Yeah,
One of the, especially if you want to do your own video marketing, if you want to make videos for yourself, the first thing that you've got to come to terms with is you're going to suck. When you first start,
yeah.
you're going to suck. You're not going to be
There's
as
some
good as you want to
notable,
be.
there's some
But
notable differences. I mean, there's some notable people who don't suck in the beginning.
but those are the exception, not the rule.
Yes, that's true.
But the majority of people, when you first start getting on camera, you're not going to be as good as you think you should be.
Mhm.
And but there's power in that. Because the thing that I tell people all the time, this is one of my big sayings, maybe you can make a meme of it, is that when you first start, nobody's watching and nobody cares. You have to do enough, you have to try it enough, do enough, put enough good information out there to make people start watching, to make people start caring. But
Yeah,
also, as Nina will tell you, the biggest part is just showing up over and over.
Or again.
Um, my thing is that I tell people I want to work with you to make your brand unforgettable.
Mhm,
That's my big thing, that concept, that word, unforgettable. But
mhm,
how do you become unforgettable? How does McDonald's become unforgettable? How does Starbucks become unforgettable? Burger King, Coca-Cola, all these brands, they don't give you an opportunity to forget. You
mhm,
have to keep putting yourself in people's faces
yeah,
because, especially in today's world, the way things are, there's so much stuff flying at us every single day. It's 4 p.m. where you're at, Nina, but it's 10 a.m. where I'm at. I've probably seen 100 advertisements already today. Just
yeah,
walking out the door, getting my son to daycare, coming back to the office. I probably done seen a bunch of ads already, and I didn't even notice.
yep. And I think the top of mind is so important. How often do I call somebody and they're like, when I was still a freelancer, for instance, you call somebody, a producer, and say like, "Hey, how are you?" And it's like, "Oh, great, you're calling me. I just had this job walk through a job walk through the door. I need a producer. Are you available?" Had I not called that day, but Joe Schmo had called that day, Joe Schmo would be getting the job, not me.
Right.
And it's the same now when you pop up on a video, I pop up on a video in a stream in LinkedIn. People are like, "Oh right, there's that Nina gal. Oh right, there's this like Alex dude. Let's check him out further because I need to manage this video thing, so
Hmm.
and the beauty of it is I always say video is working for you while you're not. So
Exactly.
while you're sleeping, while you're eating, while you're with your family, or while you're working in your area or zone of genius, talking of geniuses, or geni, what's a plural of genius? Geniuses?
I'm
Geni?
not sure.
We should look that
Hmm.
up.
Yes.
Anyway, maybe Bryn can look that up. Bryn's listening.
Brand is wonderful.
We're getting a thumbs up from her. All right. So, so you can focus on your area of genius, have a video do the work for you, introducing you, talking about, your top tips, whatever it is that you're putting out with video. Video is a great, and you know what it also does, which I really love, and I kind of discovered this year is video pulls in the people you want to work with because
Yes.
they've seen you, they've experienced you on a certain level. And somebody who just doesn't like your nose or your forehead or your crooked tooth on the top left, they're not going to contact you. So you're saying
Exactly.
there's sort of a self-selection process that's going on, which is really helpful. 'Cause
Qualifying.
yeah, it's a self-qualifying tool on top of everything else. So for me, the biggest compliment is always when I get on the phone with a prospect and they're like, "Oh my God, you're just like in your videos." I'm like, did my job.
Exactly. It really allows you to make a window into your world,
Mhm.
and have somebody sit. It's almost like they get to sit down with you, be a fly on the wall, and just take their time and observe you until they're ready to do business with you.
Yeah.
And to kind of piggyback on what you were saying, one of the things, another one of those concepts that I'm always pushing is that videos, in effect, it's cloning yourself.
Hmm. Yeah.
Nobody's going to talk about your business. Well, nobody's going to care about your business the way that you do. Nobody's going to talk about your business the way that you do. So why wouldn't you want to take advantage of that?
Yeah.
Put the best representative of your business, which should be you, out
Hmm.
into the world talking about you. But even then, the focus shouldn't be on talking about you or what you do or the fact that you've got the greatest widget in the world. The focus should always be on the people that you serve.
Yeah. Of course. I mean, I think that goes without saying, but sometimes that needs to be, people need to be reminded of that. So, in the meantime, we know that the plural of genius is geniuses. Thank you so much, Bryn. So yeah, definitely. So in keeping with the title that we have for this is to get ready for your video marketing in 2021. I mean, other than of course hiring you or me, which goes without saying is the smartest thing to do. Where can, but I mean, seriously, where can people get started? Um, where do you see the best point of entry? Let's put it that way.
The best point of entry. As far as strategy or tools, or which part are you talking about?
It just in it holistically. So I'm a small business owner. Let's say I have a service company, and I know I need video because I'm not getting the leads I need. I can't knock on doors anymore. You know, there's no more conferences. I'm stuck. How do I? How would you tell somebody to start wrapping their brain around video marketing? What would you
Okay.
suggest to do first?
First thing I would suggest you do is get some kind of tripod holder, something for your cell phone, so that you can have video that's not shaky.
Yeah,
Uh, Sometimes shaky video can work if it's intentional and done well,
yeah.
but usually you need somebody who knows how to hold the camera and
You have
move a
to shake it
camera
over
for
your face
that.
for it.
So let's stop the shakes.
Mhm.
Even a selfie stick will help. I've seen people do videos where they had their phone on a selfie stick, a $10, $15 selfie stick as they're walking and talking, and that can help take down the shake tremendously if you like to move around. But
Mhm.
if you're going to set up somewhere, uh $15, $20 phone tripod off of Amazon.
Yep.
Next thing, figure out where you want to shoot at on a regular basis, and you know, have that place always set up for you to shoot, because the less friction that you can make
Yep.
in shooting your videos, the better the better the chance that you're actually going to shoot them. Um,
Yep.
don't don't try to shoot all your videos the day that you want to put them out. Set aside a day or two each month where you're going to go in and knock them bad boys out. Uh,
So why, okay, and why would you have a permanent, especially I'm thinking of New Yorkers who have chronically no space. So if you're knocking it out once a month or twice a month, whatever, why would you have a space set up permanently?
because if all you have to do to make a video is sit down and push a couple of buttons, it's more likely that you're going to make a video. If
Yep.
every time that you're going to make a video, you have to go in the closet, pull out the gear, set up the light, or rearrange your space, like, you're not going to want to do it.
I
I mean,
know.
maybe if you are hardcore dedicated to that once a month intensive day where we're going to do all this and we're going to
Mhm.
get 10 videos done or 8 videos done, however many, even if it's like 4 videos per month, because I mean, 1 video a week is still putting you up above most of your competition.
Right.
um, but like I said, the less friction in the process,
Yep.
the
The
more
better.
likely it is that you're going to practice the process.
I
And I
agree.
always tell people, when you first start is when you should be doing the most stuff, because the more that you do it, the better you're going to get at it.
Yeah.
If like when you were riding a bike or learning to skate or learning to drive, you wanted to do it as much as possible, because if you only touched the wheel or put on the skates once every 3 months, you wasn't learning nothing.
Yeah.
You were going to be shaky. You were going to possibly crash. You're gonna have some bumps and bruises. But if you were getting out there, practice, 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 you got better. Maybe it's just a tiny bit at a time, but every inch counts.
Right. I agree. And so, yeah, so I would agree with you. Like, pull out your phone. You don't need fancy equipment in the beginning, for sure. You don't. Um, and, um, and I also think now the holidays might be a great time to clean up that mess that is your background right now, because it's not just shooting video. I mean, I'm sometimes mortified to see how people show up on Zoom calls
Oh,
with,
don't get me started on Zoom
yeah,
calls.
yeah,
I've been
no,
meaning to do videos about that.
me too. I mean, if I had permission, I mean, I have taken a couple of screenshots where, I mean, I don't have permission to use it, but where I was like, holy crap, have you ever looked at yourself in the screen? Or, I love, these are my favorites.
That's my mom. That's my
Oh
mom's
my
Zoom
God, drives
chat.
me
It's like,
bananas.
mom, I can't. I don't want to talk to the top of your head.
Yeah, it's like, can we at least have the nose and maybe the mouth in the frame? Yes, or the people who are in complete darkness and you don't see their
There's
faces.
shadow.
Yeah, yeah, lots of shadows. Yeah. So, so what do you see? So I think I think a lot of people are hoping that as we go into 21, we're going to go back into in person. Um, my feeling is it's going to take a while. My feeling is that, and I'm in this camp. I'm perfectly happy not to leave my desk and be super more productive and not run to luncheons and in-person meetings. The
I
only thing I really
love
miss is
doing
conference.
meetings via Zoom and all
Yeah,
that
I
stuff.
mean the
The fact that I
convenience
don't
of
have
it.
to
Yeah,
drive and I can do I'm in Business Network International, BNI, and pre-COVID it was all in-person meetings, so like trying to visit other chapters and stuff was sometimes super difficult and time consuming. But now it's like there have been weeks where I hit 3, 4, 5 chapter meetings in a week because all I got to do is click click. So
yeah,
I'm loving it. So
me too.
so
I'm with you.
meetings, automating meetings with potential clients or even people you just want to network with, where it's like, hey, just schedule that on my calendar link and you'll get a Zoom notice in
Right.
your email. Like
Yeah.
all that is loving it.
Oh,
Loving
me too.
it.
Absolutely. I mean, the only thing I miss is actual, like, once a year going to, let's say, I've been going to like the Vistia conference in Boston, or to some CRM conference in in Phoenix, Arizona, and actually making a trip out of it, and then immerse yourself for 3 days physically with people. I enjoy that, but that's something I want to do once or twice a year.
Yeah,
um,
conferences are definitely something that
I miss that.
a
I do.
lot of people are missing, and my wallet is missing conferences since I used to make a lot of money
I
off of
know you
conferences.
used to go and
Uh,
you were in the back. But I mean, I used to be in the back room of these conferences too. Being the video gal. I mean, it wasn't the kind of work I enjoyed because it was 24/7 access, and that's really cool up to a certain degree. And then it's like, okay, I've done this and seen it, and thank you very much.
yeah,
But going to conferences, I actually started to really enjoy that, because you also just there was sort of a synergy of anything is possible, and you, although you sometimes then go down the rabbit hole of buying courses and shit that you don't need. Pardon my French.
yeah, and I mean it's just the people that you can meet, the opportunities for learning and
Mhm.
just expanding your network. I think that's the most valuable part of conferences.
I agree.
So, and I mean, and there's a lot of that's there's a lot of conversion to the virtual space that's been going on, that's been good for people,
Yeah,
but
I
it's not
haven't.
the same.
It's not the same. And I have always every excuse then not to attend. I think it's something different if I take myself out of my physical office space. If I've signed up for one or two conferences, and then those days were super busy days, there was shitload going on, and
Yep.
then I've never even logged in, right? But if I
Right.
get on a plane and I fly, yeah, and I fly somewhere and I've paid for the hotel, and or staying with a friend on the sofa or whatever,
You're
and
more invested.
then I'm invested, and then I of course will go, and whatever was so terribly urgent will wait until 3 days later.
Right. And
So
even then afterwards, after the session's over for the day, even just sitting at the bar, you might make a
yeah,
valuable connection.
yep. That's always my favorite part, is the bar. So talking about 21. I mean, the importance of video is not going to go away. I think it's going to
Only
stay.
going to go up.
It's only going to grow up. I agree with you. Um, what do you think of people? So, and this is something that I would actually love your opinion. So, I have clients, for instance, who are not comfortable shooting with their phone. They
Mhm.
shoot themselves via Zoom. And my thing via Zoom is always, there's yet another layer of something between you and the quality of your video. So now sometimes these Zoom videos look not the best. Let's put it that way. Um, I'm a big proponent of, it's all about your content, but I think at the same time there is also a value to uphold that is your brand. What do you think of that?
I'm of two minds about the subject.
Mm.
Like, obviously, if you're looking at this picture right now, you could tell that I love my toys, I love my video quality. Like, I'm all about that, right?
Mhm.
But that's because I'm a video creator. Like,
Mhm.
to me, this is the brand. Like
Yep.
I can't show up looking regular on a Zoom call. To
Mhm.
me, that's doing a disservice to my brand. Like
Yep.
if I'm the video guy, if I'm the video expert, and I show up on a Zoom call, with the phone down here and they're looking up my nostrils, it's like, are you really going to trust me to shoot a video?
Yep.
But if I show up like this every time, it's like, oh,
Mm.
he's the video guy.
Yep.
So this is part of my brand. So this is why I show up like this. This is why I
Yep.
have to.
Mhm.
And that's a self-imposed requirement. You don't have to be like this. Like anybody out there watching, you don't have to be like this. This is me. This is what I Am Media does. Like
Yep.
we produce videos for people. We produce live streams for people. Like, so I want you to know every time you see me that this could be you.
Yep. Yep.
But I also think as time goes on that this is going to start to become the standard. I think that there are tons of people on Zoom right now killing their brand.
Mhm.
Um, and that's a whole discussion that we may not have time for.
Yeah.
But depending on what you do, you just need to put a little thought into how you show up. And that doesn't necessarily mean you need to have a full-blown production camera plugged into your computer. It might mean that you just invest $50 to $100 in a light, another $50 to $100 in a higher
Oh,
quality webcam than the one that's built into your computer.
I mean,
Boom,
you
there
can
you
do
go.
this. That's what is that? $120 or so. Yeah.
Yeah.
You
And
know what my challenge is, as you're like showing off, your thingy dingy, is like when we started, we still had daylight, and now it's getting pitch dark out. So I have to light without knowing what I'm lighting for before the call, and hope that as it gets dark, it stays somewhat the same, so it's not distracting.
right.
But no, and I think I totally agree with you. I mean, I'm actually working with this woman in Australia, and I'm waiting for it. Is she created a backdrop for me, a 2x2. This is meters, so 6 by 6 foot backdrop, totally branded. It's somewhere stuck in customs. At some point, I'll have it, but that is a portable. So if I'm up here in the mountains, if I am somewhere else, I'm in Switzerland right now, I will always be branded, and I will carry with me this duffel bag and it's a small duffel bag that doesn't weigh very much, with my branded backdrop,
Nice.
and my two little lights, and I think that's going to become pretty standard, I would imagine.
Yeah,
Thank you.
it's only going to become more important. Um, I'm seeing it. I'm seeing it now on my feeds, on my timeline. More guys like me, or bigger production companies who are having to scale back and think about the new normal and what the needs are of the clientele that's out there. Uh, more branded live streams, more branded Facebook content, stories, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera.
Mhm.
Um, because there's just so many things to be done. But the value of video is not new,
No, of course
but the
not.
barrier of entry has never been cheaper.
I mean,
The
that's my thing. Like, how much cheaper and easier do we need to make it, right?
Right. Because I mean, most of us, if you're a business owner out there and connected to the digital space in any sort of way, even if it's just via email, you probably have a smartphone. Can you even buy a phone that is not a smartphone now? I don't know.
I
Um,
think you still buy flip phones for like elderly with like, really big dials on it. I think that's about, or for kids, that's
yeah, but
about.
if you're a business owner, you've got a cell phone or you've got a tablet, so you have basically a multifaceted production machine with you at all times. And so there's no reason that you cannot start implementing video as part of your ongoing strategy. Like I said, if you make one video a week, you're way ahead of most of your competition, way ahead of most of your peers, because most people aren't even doing that. And I'm just talking about pulling out the cell phone, saying, hey, this is the quick tip of the week about whatever it is I'm an expert in. And doing
Or,
that for a minute or
or even if you're nervous about being on camera, invite a friend, a client, a coworker, to have a conversation with you on Zoom and use that. I mean, I find that
Zoom
for a lot
calls
of
are
people,
my
yeah.
favorite. They're one of my favorite ways to capture content.
Mhm.
Not well, like we were talking about quality before. Yes, not a big fan of the Zoom video quality, But if you do, because they're, I think the max file size is like 720p.
Yeah.
Um, but if you do happen to invest in a little bit of a higher quality setup, you can get a higher quality image out of it. Something
But
that will at
why?
least be good for social content.
Right. But you see, I mean, this is, but so yes, you can get higher quality. But the thing is this, these kinds of videos that end up on social media, they're tissue videos. They're videos you use once, maybe twice, and then they go bye-bye. And then you come up with your next content. I mean,
Exactly.
and I mean, I right now have between group calls, between these things and everything else, and testimonials, and the videos that I do, my naked video series, I have folders and folders and folders of videos that haven't been used yet. I mean,
Oh,
if I
same
got run
here.
over by a truck tomorrow, touch wood, there's certainly enough in this
Oh,
house.
please don't.
Then I mean, Bryn could be posting for another year, and nobody would know I wasn't existing anymore. I mean, there's so much content to get to, and
Right.
I am not going to spend a ridiculous amount of time and money for a tissue video. Yes, I like you. I want to hold myself to a certain standard. I want to make sure that I at least present myself the way I want my clients to present themselves. And I on purpose don't overproduce because I want to be attainable, right?
You're the example.
Yeah, I am the
It's just like
example.
we're talking about. Like, I
Yeah,
show up like this because my
you
whole thing
produce
is
for
I
them.
want
Yeah,
people to think this could be them if they
yeah.
use me. You show up like you do because
Because
it's like this could be you if you come learn with Nina.
yeah, exactly. And I mean, so you and my brand, we very much on purpose show up the way we show up. I mean, it's not coincidence. Let's put it that way, right? We put some
Exactly.
thought into that. And I think, and this is the thing where I'm like, okay, put some thought in how to show up, because that's how you're showing up as your brand now. Because even if we still had meetings in person, you're still having most of your work done. You're not for every single meeting up with a person with somebody in person, unless of course you run a restaurant or a beauty salon, or I mean, even my personal trainer, I have a woman who does Pilates with me. We do it over Zoom now.
Nice.
Yeah. She moved back to Texas, and so I was like, we can't meet in person, so let's do it over Zoom. So,
Hey,
and it works just fine. I'm like, I wish we would have
we've
done.
done a lot of learning this year.
Yeah, we have done a
People
lot of learning. Yeah.
in the business community as professionals, not just us as video creators, but just across the board. We've all done a lot of learning this year. We've had to reframe our perception of or our idea of what is possible, and it's amazing. Uh, how much growth that has caused for different sectors. Like, I'm sure that there's personal trainers who before this year never would have thought of personal training via Zoom or FaceTime or whatever thing it is, even though the technology was there. Like, this
Of
is
course.
not
Yeah.
new
It's
technology.
not
It's
new.
just we have been forced to innovate. Necessity is the mother of invention, right? So
Absolutely.
we've been forced to adapt and change and grow, and that's a wonderful thing. I mean, like, yes, it also means that there are places where it's hurt more than helped. But
Yes.
there's a lot of people
Yeah.
who the reason they've been able to stay in business and even thrive in this environment is because they made that pivot to implement video in some new way in the thing that they do, and they've seen explosive growth because of it.
Yep. For sure. I mean, as you said, I think the mother is what is it? Necessity is the mother of invention. And I mean, even like look at the mirror that came out serendipitously. All right, that's a word we're not using today. Um, that came out, by Lululemon, and it's a. I mean, they cannot keep up with orders. It's a mirror that you hang up at home, and it is your personal trainer. And your trainer, if he or she also has a mirror, can actually train you in a full size
Nice.
mirror. I mean, how genius is that? And again, the technology is nothing new,
Right.
but use of it, it's like Pelotons are now flying off the shelves. I mean,
My
you,
wife just got one.
good for her.
She
I
got bit by the bug.
If I didn't have a New York City apartment, and I'm not complaining, I have decent amount of space. but I don't want to ruin my living room. And so no Peloton for me. But boy, am like, if anything changes, the first thing I'm doing is I'm getting a Peloton.
Oh, and it's even crazy. She's got my daughter, because Peloton's not just on the bike; they're on like Roku and stuff. So my daughter is doing yoga and meditation. So my daughter's 7,
Yes.
from the Peloton channel on Roku. Like,
Oh,
she's
cool.
really into it. So I'm
Hey,
like, okay,
whatever gets them into yoga and meditation, those are, they could be doing worse.
yeah. I mean, I'm like, go
Yeah,
ahead, kid.
there you go. All right. So, parting words. So 2021, can't get around video. Um, my advice would be just pull out that damn smartphone and just shoot some and see how it goes. Yeah. And that's, and then when it's really terrible, then maybe you can look up, people like Alex and me, what the tips are that we give for free on LinkedIn all the time.
All the time.
All
So
the
much
time.
information out there.
So much information. We're also on Facebook, we're on YouTube. But I mean, my case, LinkedIn is sort of my digital home away from home. Where are you mostly? Where's
This
your?
year, I've been mostly on LinkedIn. I am trying to get my swagger back on YouTube right now. I'm doing vlogmas and desperately trying to keep up and put out the kind of videos that I want to put out.
Yeah.
But it's tough because I actually have a decent amount of client work that has to be done right now, and training some new video editors and things like that. So it's we working.
Good. And I have advice for you. Batch produce. I know I know I'm preaching to the choir. I'm just
I
being
know. Like, if
yeah.
I jumped into it at last minute, if I had put any forethought into it, I would have. But it was kind of like,
But that's
yeah,
what challenges are for. Challenges, you're supposed to jump in without thinking about it. Because it's like getting a dog. I thought about getting a dog for 20 years. Then I got the dog, and I'm like, holy crap, now I've got the dog, and I love the dog. So it's going to stay with me. But had I known how much work a dog is, would I have gotten the dog? No. And it's the same with the challenge, only that it only lasts like a month, right? Or in your case, until the 24th, I would imagine, if it's
yeah.
Vlogmas. So, don't overthink these things. Just do them, and then just swim, and then
I'm having fun.
marvelous things come out of it. Yeah. I saw some of your videos. They're very funny, and I love that you have them all Christmassy branded. So it works. It totally works. Any parting thoughts you want to share with us, Alex?
Do more. Just do more than you think you need to do. But if you can't manage to do as much as you think you need to do something, because I guarantee you, doing something, showing up, you're already doing more than most.
Yep. I think that's a really nice way of putting it. That'll be our mantra for 21. Alex, thank you for your time. I know we'll do
Thank
this
you for
again.
having me.
Yeah,
We always
of
have fun on
course.
these conversations.
I was very excited for today because the two of us, we can never shut up when we're together. So
It's a good problem to have, though, sometimes.
yes, I think so too. All right, everybody, merry whatever you celebrate, and happy New Year if we don't see any of you before then, and onwards to a better and less complicated 21. I hope. Yes. Ciao, everybody.
Bye bye. Oh, I'm still here. Hello.